As we continue to talk about being more this week, being a church that is more, being a church that does more. In yesterday's video, I talked about the need for us to observe. Well, once we have observed possible opportunities, then we need to do something more in order to begin the process of acting. Now, that leads us to today's letter, which is R, for response, or to respond. And responding is different than reacting. Let me explain. A reaction is something that just happens. It could be natural, it could be a reflex or something like that. For instance, if you put your hand on a hot stove, you will, by reflex, the pain receptors in your hand will send a signal through your nerves to your brain, which will then send a trigger to your muscles to say, remove the hand from that hot stove. And all of that takes place in just less than a split second. I mean, it is in such a rapid time. That is a reaction. It happens fast. It needs to happen fast in order to prevent further damage. But responding is different. Response is to consider what we will do. We even have a phrase that is called a measured response. What does that mean? It means that we measure what we will do. We measure how we will do. Is it appropriate given the circumstances of the situation? So we measure what has been done, what needs to be done, and then we can begin to figure out how to move forward. Now, we must understand that the idea of responding might mean that nothing is done. I mean, that's possible. There is no response. That is a response, is to give no response. Sometimes to do nothing might be the right thing to do, or at least to not do anything for a while. But as it relates to our idea of doing more and of being more, we must choose to respond based upon the opportunities that are around us. Some opportunities may be small. Some opportunities may be large. That's just a matter of context. Some may be possible and some might not be possible, or at least they may seem to be beyond our ability originally. But once we have observed, we must choose to respond in whatever way we choose to do so. Our response must not only be consider which opportunities will get our attention, but how we will respond to the opportunities we do choose to give attention towards. As I said in yesterday's video, the idea is for our church to be a blessing to others in our community especially. Now, being a blessing does not mean that we are going to meet every need. Jesus did not meet every need. It cannot mean that we would meet every need. But it can mean, and it should mean, that having been observant, we will be motivated to respond in love and with grace to each person in every situation as we have the opportunity to do so. In fact, that is our opportunity, is to respond appropriately. We cannot help everyone, but as I've shared before, a quote from Andy Stanley, what you wish to do for many, do for one. We can do that individually and collectively. And of course, some of the opportunities that deserve a response will be to bless one another within the context of this church as the family members of what we call Fairfax Baptist Church. Again, I know that our congregation does largely look out for one another, but can we do more? Sure. But what should we do? How should we do more? Well, that goes back to the previous videos. So let us be motivated and let us be observant. Let us be responsive. But then, as a preview for tomorrow, let me give you the last letter of E for engaged. Let us be engaged. That will be our topic for tomorrow.